So we got a handful of mortgage bankers on, I hope. If you're a title company or a realtor today on today's session, you might be in the wrong place. So this conversation is about mortgage. Mortgage. We do title on Tuesdays and realtors on Wednesdays. So if you're here for mortgage, realtor referred mortgage business, realtor referred purchase business, if you're here for essential employee relocation mortgage business, that's what we're going to be talking about today. I'm going to kill the first minute just jibber jabbering and hope that someone will play devil's advocate today. I love it when people poke holes and play devil's advocate. I love it when people ask questions that are bothering them. I love it when a new relationship gives us a big old, well, what about this? It's just a fun way to interact with our mortgage partners. I do it every Monday morning at 10 a.m. And then we release it out to our mortgage sponsors throughout that following week in YouTube shorts and in essential points that we need to convey to our mortgage bankers. It's 10:01 a.m. now, and only to leave less PowerPoint and more writ. I'm just going to stay with you for just a minute before I open the PowerPoint. I sat with a donor in Islamorada, Florida, who was willing to carve out some of his inheritance from his family to the Hero Benefits Network. And he felt strongly about the organization because he understands homeownership affordability. He's been in the real estate finance business for his whole life. And now that he's in his 80s, he's just eager to, contribute in a different way. And I had spent some time with him several months ago. And we were just a fledgling nonprofit then. And, he said, well, you got to get some momentum. You got to get some things going. And I said, well, we got one of the top loan officers in the country that just bought the state of Connecticut. And he owns the whole of Connecticut. And he's like, I think he's the number one mortgage lender, maybe in the Northeast, but certainly in Connecticut and New Jersey. I know he's a rock star. But I thought that momentum would start to really tip us. But the donor said, no, you need, in the real estate industry, you're going to need a formidable sales funnel. You're going to need to really represent a fintech, a nonprofit financial services technology company. That's what you're going to need to become if you're going to want to get the attention of the major players in the country. And he said, and I'm willing to carve out some donation towards the nonprofit if you're able to do this, this, and this. And I said, you have my word. I'm going to focus on that. And the mandate came down that we really needed realtor coverage. That was the heartbreak of the essential employees. And I want to be specific here. Like at the Police Benevolent Association in Tallahassee, Florida, I sat there with a guy named Dave Merzen. We sat in front of the president of that organization, and he said, "Yeah, I'm willing to go with you guys at Heroes, but where's your coverage? Coverage." So there became this cart before the horse conundrum. We were having the biggest conversations with the biggest players in essential employee relocation, but we didn't have any realtor or mortgage coverage essentially. So we went on a crusade to not only certify, but empower the residential real estate agents. Oh, let me see if I can hit screen save before I do this here so you don't just lose me altogether. I'm going to go ahead and go back to the point of today's conversation. If that didn't resonate with you, I apologize, but I'm passionate about this mandate that came down from this donor. And he said, you get realtors, you get my money. I said, well, you got it, buddy. So we're off to the races. I am sharing my screen now, and I'm going to go ahead and just have this conversation. I know mortgage bankers pretty well. I've been a realtor since 1986. Been in the mortgage business since the 90s. I ran a residential real estate franchise for many, many years. And I need to do a disclaimer here. Can everybody, Devin, anybody know, can you see my screen okay now? Oh, hope so. If you can't see my screen, I'll be
Yeah,
disappointed.
it's coming through.
Thank you very much. So it was important to let you know this is not a certification. We do our certifications Wednesdays at noon. So if you're not certified, some of this conversation might be a little foreign to you. You can get certified for free Wednesdays at noon, or you can get certified anytime, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week at herobenefitsnetwork.org or .com. This is not an orientation. While I will answer questions and dig into the granular for you, if it'll help you in any way, I'm willing to do that. But this is coaching, and it's about mortgage production. So having been a mortgage banker and a real estate agent and a title company owner for most of my adult life, I started the Hero Benefits Network nonprofit 501c3 charitable organization to gift $5,000 in down payment assistance and up to $10,000 in relocation grants to heroes. And I partnered with Randy Nemiroff, who runs the Perk Plans organization, and we're doing an alliance with Cambridge Consumer Credit to help us certify more realtors and get the word out about realtors. I think that as mortgage bankers, we do have one of the easiest jobs in the industry because all we essentially do is give away money. So I want to talk about what we're going to do today. I touched on my background just a little bit, but I know this about mortgage bankers. They don't care about the fluff and they don't care about the sunshine. They don't buy on prospects. Most mortgage bankers, especially at the executive level, past performance equals, future results. Past performance equals future results. And so if you don't make sense mathematically, then it's going to fall on deaf ears in the mortgage industry a lot of times, right? So we're going to talk about that math briefly, and then we're going to talk about actionable items, including a trip to Google, to show you what I would do if I were in Maryland. I just picked Maryland out of my ankle, and we'll go ahead and show you what I would do if I was in Maryland right now, but we'll do that here in just a minute. Devin is online today. She's the Julie McCoy of our Love Boat. She helps all of our mortgage members nationwide find what they're looking for and help them host lunch and learns in their local markets with us coming in and speaking. If you'd like us to, we could certainly come in online or in person, depending on the sizes of your group. Randy Nemiroff runs Perk Plans, Carrie runs the whole company, and I just run my mouth. You'll see that over time. We give away 0.0115 on every transaction that a hero does, contingent upon a couple things, of course. We also give away 0.0075 on the reload. So if they're doing a sale of one and buying another one, you combine those two grant factors to equal a more substantial grant. We just did a transaction from Texas to Florida, and she was able to achieve the entirety of the relocation grant. When you talk about sales funnel technology, fintech technology, when you talk about the biggest players in fintech, you talk about a sales funnel mechanism. We're going to get to that in just a minute and why I'm so passionate about this. If we have a request for you, help us get realtors certified. So if you're not certified, get certified, and then let's you and I host a realtor facing event in December, and you will be the belle of the ball. You will be the chief cook and bottle washer of your own realtor facing event. And we can do it once a month. We can do it once a week for all I care. And I'm going to show you exactly how we're going to do it. We're going to do it with one title company, one mortgage banker, and about 50 realtors per area. If that doesn't turn you on, you don't know much about the mortgage business. We're going to do it with one title company, one mortgage banker, and a bunch of realtors. That's what we do in each area that we serve. So there's not 5 mortgage bankers vying for all the business. This is the sales funnel, guys. This is what I do for a living. This is what I've done for a living since 1986 is manage sales funnel technology. Financial services technology companies are stealing the leads at the top of the funnel. But the hardest part of the top of the funnel fintech is keeping the consumer in the funnel. So what we've done for you is we've added these guardrails, these golden guardrails to the funnel. You've heard the term golden handcuffs. Well, nobody hates to be tied up in golden handcuffs. They understand the premise. It's a contract and it holds me to something, but there's a benefit in it for me, right? That's what golden handcuffs mean. Golden guardrails just protect our sales funnel from intruders like Zillow or Realtor.com or Homes.com. So when our consumer putters around on Zillow, he doesn't leave us because we have these golden guardrails. And I'll teach you about this as we get to know each other better. But the essential employee relocation starts at the top of the funnel. Hero Benefits Network takes it to a real estate agent in your local market who's certified, and then they have to protocol inside the Hero Benefits Network nonprofit charitable organization. They have to turn to you to find out what the grant is. You are the keeper of the grant certification. You cannot certify someone for a grant as a mortgage banker until they've been pre-qualified, including credit. So, you just got the golden handcuffs to the golden guardrails with the golden arches. You've got a whole system that brings a sales funnel of teachers, firefighters, and law enforcement officers and first responders and essential employees through the real estate agents to the mortgage banker. And I should have taken the S off of that because there's only one mortgage banker per area. You can take this to the bank, 25 bips. This is where the math starts to make mortgage bankers upset. Pledged on closed and funded transactions. So now he goes, oh shit, I'm getting paid $100 a quarter, or I'm paying $100 a quarter. I got to drop by 25 bips just to get the deal. I got to pay my MLO 100 instead of 125. Is he going to go for that? Well, it depends. Does he have 50 realtors feeding him business all the time? I mean, maybe he paid 25 bips. I don't know. I've been in the business a while. Sounds reasonable. Essential Employee Relocation Division will then gift 0.0015 and relocation grants for almost twice that. So I was watching the Joe Rogan podcast. I was probably one of few people that invested 6 hours of my life on the Donald Trump interview and the JD Vance interview. And I was taken aback by how much venom this administration has for defund the police. And I expect that Back the Blue is going to sort of take a precedence over defund the police. And since my dad was a cop and all my brothers were Marines and my nephew's a Marine and a cop, you know, I kind of feel that way too. So I think veterans deserve it, firefighters deserve it, EMT deserve it, teachers deserve it, and first responders deserve it. Now here's where you come in. Maybe you just don't believe in heroes. Put that out the window. I can't help. Maybe you don't believe in sales funnels. Can't help you. I got 40 years of sales funnels. I believe in them. And then last but not least, maybe you don't believe that there's going to be an uptick in March. Maybe you think I'm like Barry Habib on stage back in 22 explaining that that's going to happen. No, I'm not Barry Habib prophesizing that the interest rates are going to go low again in the spring of 22. I'm a mortgage banker and a real estate agent and a title company owner for all my life, and I just heard the Fed say it. The Federal Reserve said that we're looking to ease things. Now, if you think the new administration coming in and lower interest rates aren't going to uptick the real estate market, I can already feel it in a lot of markets that we serve. So our proposal to you is simple, and then we're going to do this call to action thing. What would I do if I were dropped off in Maryland tomorrow? And hopefully it'll resonate with you. But it's November 2024, and you've got that build up, what we call a ramp up, right? If I ramp up November, December, January, and February, my March is going to be my pay dirt. And if I'm not a good coach, I mean, call Carl White, call Rick Ruby, call Jennifer Duplessis, call Christine Beckwith. But I believe this. This is what I believe. November, December, January, February, March is pay dirt. So we have to work hard while it's not exciting to get paid when it is exciting. That's what the coach says, okay? We collaborate on realtor and title company fulfillment in your market. That means you and I, with Devin's help, Kenny, the tech geek at Hero Benefits, and Carrie, the administrative mind at Hero Benefits Network, all four of us are your employees. I said this to Terry Santiago Parker online. She's a cross-country realtor up in New Jersey that I've known for a while. I said to her online this week, why are you going to hire a loan partner? Why are you going to hire a business development partner who has no experience, probably 26-year-old, dumb as wood, doesn't know shit about the mortgage business? You're going to hire this $40,000, $50,000, $60,000 a year kid to be your business development manager. Why don't you just hire HBN? We'll do a hell of a lot more in realtor attraction than a $40,000 a year loan partner or business development partner who has no mind for it. So what we're going to do for you as your business development team is we're going to help you build a four-legged stool, an HBN one-stop shop. So you're the mortgage leg. There's a residential real estate leg of maybe 30 or 40 realtors. There's one title agency that you nominate. And then we're the fourth leg. And I don't know if you've ever tried to knock down a four-legged stool, but it's harder to knock down a four-legged stool than it is a mortgage banker all by himself. Shit, as a realtor, all I got to say is I'm shopping rate and the mortgage banker's on his ass. But if I had a four-legged stool with guardrails on the sales funnel that protected the best interest of the client, not the mortgage banker, but the client, because she is in line for $8,800 in relocation grants to help her move from Texas to Florida. And that client stays loyal to the one-stop shop. Now, as long as my mortgage banker doesn't screw it up by overpricing, and as long as my real estate agent doesn't screw it up by failing to get a buyer brokerage agreement signed, and as long as my title company doesn't screw it up by not having a clear to close protocol that they follow for hero deals, then we're going to close a lot of transactions, and we already have. Now, the proof is in the pudding. I've been doing this for 37 years. I ran law enforcement appreciation program in the 80s and 90s. I converted it to a for-profit network of realtors across the country called Hero Home Source, which I ran from about 1992 to probably 2002. And then I launched the nonprofit 501c3 sort of out of retirement in the Carolina Mountains. And I'm feisty about it because we need to certify realtors. So if you bring in and certify a realtor as a mortgage banker, that's your realtor, right? You're in the funnel. You're connected to them ever more in your portal. The realtor can't leave that portal because it's zip code driven. So we drive everything through zip codes. So the 43,000 zip codes in the United States will be owned and operated by probably countywide specific mortgage bankers. So you'll have 15 or 20 zip codes in your county. This is the vision for it. But all you have to think about right now is make sure you're certified. Start giving me feedback on Mortgage Mondays. Tell me what you need, what's more specific that you need, and then we'll get on it. So this is where the coaching kicks in. Managing mortgage mathematics and metrics. I had a friend that said, if it can't be measured, it can't be managed. And I'm sure it was quoted from another book. But Zillow lead gen in a 3% mortgage market resulted in about a 4% close ratio. We had 34% credit pull, but we closed less than 4% over the annual transaction. That's because we didn't have any guardrails to our sales funnel. We were trusting competent realtors to sell product to people who were hungry to buy, but the realtor incompetency just paralyzed us. When I ran my own team, my closing ratio was closer to 7 and had gotten as high as 10 in good markets. And I had a 34% capture rate on my mortgages. So what I want to explain to you is that when a realtor refers a deal to a mortgage banker, 75% of the time that consumer uses that mortgage banker, 3/4. And an old friend of mine named Rick Ruby, I use that term lightly, Rick Ruby taught me that, a realtor is worth 4 to 8 transactions a year, where a consumer is only worth 1. So we'd put money into consumer direct, but we would end up with 1 closing. We put money into realtor purchase, and we would get 8 to 10 closings from the same person. So I have learned through 40 years that you can't buy business for less than 25 bips. You just can't do it. Maybe you could if you just gave away donuts to realtors, but I've used Zillow, Realtor.com, Lending Tree. I've used broker-wide MSAs and desk rentals and thrown as much as $5 and $7 and $10 and $12,000 a year. A month at real estate brokers in the form of desk rentals. And I've also invested in realtor referred purchase business and little typo. In the end game, I'm going to jump right to this because I'm going to go to Google and I'm going to do a search for you right now, real time. Let's do this in a way that hopefully can be useful for you guys. I'm going to go straight to Google now, real time. And I'm going to move this over here. And I'm just going to punch in, oh my gosh, you can see all my old searches. I hope there's nothing embarrassing. Maryland Board of Realty. Now, you can do this in any community you want, any community you're in. Somebody confirm you can still see my screen. If I'm a working, but Maryland Board of Realty. All right. So I'm going to go into Maryland Board of Realty, Maryland Association of Realtors. So I'm a mortgage banker. I've not spent a dime yet. I'm not spending any money. I'm a prudent, pragmatic son of a gun. I'm not going to buy a zip code. I'm not, doing anything. But here's what I'm going to do first. I'm going to get certified. And then I'm going to look at this opportunity in the eye. And I said, what kind of lunch and learn am I going to host in December? Devin, can we host a list to last event with a Hero Benefits Network certification in Maryland in the month of December? Yeah, we could do that. Okay. We'll host the event with you online. We'll give you the content to host, but let's talk turkey here. It's November 15th or so. Don't buy a zip code. Just go to the Maryland Board of Realty, right? And then you go down here to contact us. Do this. I hope you can see my screen. 21401. I want you to remember that for me. 21401. To go over to zip codes on the network. Hopefully. Everything's moving a little slow. And what do we say? It's 21401. I'm going to check availability, make sure nobody already owns that zip code. Oh, it's available and in stock from the mortgage side, the title side, and the real estate. So I do not have a realtor. I do not have a mortgage banker, and I do not have a title company at the Maryland Board of Realty. And that's housed in Annapolis, Maryland. So we're going to go back here. We're going to say, let's just go back to the Maryland Board of Realtors. You know that there's an education director. I don't know if you know that. Certifications, designations, education calendar. So you're a nonprofit, baby. You're a nonprofit, baby. So you're going to call, or you can even have us on the call. Like you could say, hey, do you have time to talk to my nonprofit? We do realtor education about down payment assistance. We do realtor education about relocation grants that are available for cops, firefighters, essential employees. And we have a mandate from a donor to certify 40,000 realtors in the next 12 months. Could we do an event at the Board of Realty? It's a nonprofit giving away relocation dollars. Now, if the Board of Realty in Annapolis said yes, then only then am I going to buy that zip code right there. Then I've just protected my zip code from all the other realtors, all the other mortgage bankers, and all the other title companies. No, I'm sorry, you know what I'm saying. I protected mortgage bankers from doing this in this Board of Realty. Think about that. Like a franchise now, I just bought for $100 a month the Annapolis Board of Realty for Hero Benefits Network. Now, I gave you this trick because I had a bunch of entrepreneurial seizures coming out of the real estate industry, and they wanted to buy like 5 zip codes at a time. And they bought, like one guy bought $1,200 worth of zip codes on his first day. And I said to him, why? Why did you buy that? And he said, because I want it. I want to own it. And I said, well, you didn't even notice if the Police Benevolent Association was in one of those zip codes, did you? You didn't notice if the Fraternal Order of Police was in one of those zip codes. Why didn't you go get the zip code, search the zip code first for where the hospital district is? Because if you were able to find a hospital district in a particular zip code, as a mortgage banker, I could go out and say, I am the exclusive relocation director for Heroes in 28734. Would you like to come to my event, realtors? Do you want to come to my event, realtors, to find out how you can take advantage of my exclusivity within the Maryland Board of Realty, or my exclusivity. And I hope I'm not babbling here. I'm the mortgage banker who has the exclusive relationship to the Police Benevolent Association. Their headquarters is right in 28734. That's my zip code. I've asked you as realtors to come here to serve the police officers with me. I also own the Broward County School Board. So I am the exclusive mortgage banker for the Broward County School Board through Hero Benefits Network. Do you start to get where the leverage comes in? I hope. And I'm going to go back to my PowerPoint now and say this is a true purpose, not just a job, and let you know that the first thing that we can do together, we do an event called Navigating NAR that's pulling hundreds and hundreds of realtors across the country right now. Navigating NAR is all about the NAR settlement and buyer brokerage and all that. We do that event for realtors all over the country. We bring a mortgage banker in, bring Navigating NAR, and we bolt on the Hero Benefits Network to it, and we make a beautiful 1-hour presentation at the Board of Realty. You're the belle of the ball. You're the hero who's bringing hero transactions to them, and there is no cost of business for the realtors. Okay, our formula is quite simple: 400, 40, 14, and 4. Let's do that together. I've got 4 minutes left. You got to give me data on 400 realtors. Go to Market Match or Sales Match or CoreLogics or the board or whatever software your mortgage bank has, and get us the data on 400 realtors in your community with at least 25 broker owners. You can also go to Teamerages if you know what that means. There's a large team there. 40 certified realtors in 90 days. That's our goal. So if you're on board with whatever you call them, you're on board. I'm going to recommend that we set a written goal, because I've seen written goals perform better than vague goals. So we go ahead and we say, no, we have a written goal to certify 40 realtors in your zip code that you own within 90 days. Now, on a global scale, what Hero Benefits Network is doing is 1,000 mortgage partners across the country that each certify 40 realtors. So when I said 40,000 realtors have to be certified to make my donor happy, I've got to get 1,000 mortgage bankers or title companies to certify 40 realtors each. I think I could do that. My wife and Devin and Kendall think I'm crazy. Randy says 40,000, you're ridiculous. You're never going to get to 40,000. You only got 1,200 right now. Yeah, well, I'll bet you I get to 40,000. 14 real estate referral partners are going to spit out of those 40. You know for sure that 26 of them can't walk and chew gum anyway, and will probably quit the business in the next 12 months. But you know that there's 14 of the 40 that can walk and chew gum at the same time, that already know how to do buyer brokerage agreements, already know how to competently refer a mortgage, already know how to control sales funnel technology in a nonprofit fintech. They understand how Boomtown Leads, Bold Leads, Commissions Inc., and all those companies worked in the past, and they understand that we're the new nonprofit version of that. So they're coming in to us in droves, but your job is to hand select out 14 of those 40 realtors so that after 90 days, listen to this, 14 realtors each do about 3 transactions a year, 4 maybe. You're talking about an extra 48 transactions a year, okay? So I did this math, and I built it on the same math that I used at my brokerage business. I'm going to tell you some insider trading mathematics at the real estate brokerage business. God, I'm going to show my ass right here, but it's true. We had what's called a stupid question department at our real estate brokerage. We didn't call it that, but we knew that a certain sector of our realtors were going to be asking a lot of stupid questions. So we had to appoint really patient, really empathetic, really maternal, loving, nurturing people to deal with that. I could not do that. And then we had sales management, which would solve all their transactional problems. And then we had Kita coaching, which was me putting my foot up their ass every day. And that's called kicking the ass coaching, kicking the ass they needed to kick in the ass. If you don't like that theme, we'll make up a new one for you. But when we have this one productive zip code terminology, you're getting a real estate coach you're getting a mortgage coach, and you're getting a title coach operating in that same zip code so that we can build the centrifugal force of that zip code. So now you potentially, and you give me a call. I don't want to spend a lot of money. No shit. Nobody does. So you want to do one zip code. Let's build it up to 4 transactions a month. And then I'll give you first right of refusal on another zip code or a county or a state, so that if somebody comes on to buy, I call you up, I go, hey, somebody wants the county. And I show you, they came in and made an app. And then you decide if you want it. But at least you don't have to lay out too much money too fast, because we're in a tough mortgage and real estate market right now. But I'm going to do this last thing, then I'm going to turn you loose to Q&A if anybody has any. And I love devil's advocate. I love arguing. I love talking to people who don't believe me. It's fun. So the Police Benevolent Association, the Fraternal Order of Police, the Veterans of Foreign War, the Chicago Teachers Union, all began the human resources directors that feed the employee relocation model. So at the top of the funnel, we actually have HR directors. We have association presidents, and we have 80 million veterans in the standalone organization already sending us in referrals. We have EXP Affinity have already verbally agreed to accept any referrals in any county, any zip code, any state, and pay a little bit of a higher referral fee because they don't have members there. But that's just how we're creating coverage. And we're doing the same thing this week with a company called Exit Realty Corp International out of Mississauga, Canada. We're trying to get them to let us not even certify their agents, but just give our referrals to them that come in from these folks. But your job in blue is to help us certify real estate agents. Real estate agents then refer you, because you're their portal president. You run the relocation channel for that community. And then there's one title company there. Once we go to funding, instead of taking 150 bips on your paycheck, you're going to take 125 bips, because that firefighter or that cop or that teacher is going to get that other 25 bips from us. And that's your donation. And that's what allows us to fund all these grants that eventually go back down to the heroes. So when you're talking about essential employee relocation, you have to remember that unless we go to the fire stations together, unless we go preach the good word of the network through our realtor community, we're not seeing that many leads come in like Maryland right now. Like I said, we don't have any coverage there. But as your coverage grows in your little section, lock arms with me on this. If we certify 40 realtors in the next 90 days, and this is a mandate from a donor that's willing to give us a lot of money, a lot of money, if we can affect change on the residential real estate and mortgage industry for essential employees, that's his words, not mine. He said, just get coverage. You need about 40,000 realtors doing this before it's really going to have any viability and sustainability and make any common sense. And I said, all right, well, that's my job, to go find 1,000 mortgage guys that'll help me certify 40 realtors each. And that's 40,000. So that's what we're here on Monday morning doing. But remember, you're the integral cog in the wheel of the sales funnel that cannot get the grants without going through you for at least pre-qualifying for the grants. And I want to address a thing called freedom of choice for our consumers. Every hero reserves the right to do a transaction outside of network. Of course, the consumer decides where they're going to do business. So if your pricing's out of whack, if you don't get along with somebody, that's fine. But if you could just remember this, when I was doing sales funnel for real estate brokerage, 34% conversion to credit pull, but we only had a 4% conversion to contract. Then out of that 4%, about a third of those did a mortgage with us. Wow, that's a shitty way to make a living. Well, let's do it this way. Let's put the barb on the hook at the top of the sales funnel with the firefighter that signs a voucher. You got $4,800 if you buy a house through the network. Oh, I'm buying a house through the network. Let me meet a network realtor. Let me meet a network mortgage banker. Let me meet a network title company. And they do go through, and I don't want to jinx it, but 100% capture rate in this sales funnel is a reasonable expectation. Certainly there will be some fallout. But you get the idea of guardrails, I hope. And I'm going to open it up for any kind of fight, conversation, love, kisses, love fest that wants to happen, devil's advocate, but what about this? Anything like that hits you right now, please hit me. I had a friend come on a couple weeks ago on the first coaching call and say, I've been up in Cape Cod. I haven't been doing any of this stuff. And then she's like, I was going to Florida to do this again. I was like, man, we didn't even do any realtor certifications in Cape Cod. How would any realtors know about it? So this is all about getting you guys aware of the, what do you call it? A key performance indicator. KPI for you is how many realtors are in your zip, how many realtors are in your county that are doing this, right? So I'm going to wrap up at 10:35, only 5 minutes after my normal window. HeroBenefitsNetwork.org. Always do Mondays mortgage, Tuesdays title, and Wednesdays real estate. I hope you'll join us again next week. We'll give you another call to action. Enough said for me, Deb. You got anything for me?
Guys, any questions before we all hop off?
We never get any questions.
You just blew their mind. That's
I don't know
all.
what to make of it. I think maybe I'm just too grumpy in my old age. Maybe that's it. Stop presenting. My old age. Not one of those Zig Ziglar fests. It's more of a Vince Lombardi fest.
All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for joining the call. If you do have any questions or concerns, you absolutely can email myself or Russ. But again, we do host these mortgage coaching calls every Monday at 10 a.m. And they are a weekly thing where each week Russ does bring some new insight onto the call. So please continue to come and learn something and hopefully grow your business with Hero Benefits Network.
Devin, do you know the details? We took a teacher from Texas and we put her in Florida this week. I think she got about $8,800 in relo grants from Texas to move to Florida. You know anything about that one?
I don't. That's the first time hearing it.
Yeah, I just saw the Texas flag behind my new friend Jimmy. So I was excited to see the Texas flag there. It looks like it's in stained glass, if I'm not mistaken. But we're going to go ahead and call it for today. If you want to get involved in essential employee relocation, want to get involved in our nonprofit fintech sales funnel. This is a true nonprofit financial services technology company that helps move essential employees from one market to another, whether they're buying a home or selling a home and buying a home. We're their go-to company, and we've been doing this now, so we just want you to help us get Realtor certified. So thanks very much for your time and attention, and we'll be back every Monday at 10 a.m., and we hope you'll show up too. Thanks a lot.